improving your accuracy, improve your consistency no matter what sport you play as an athlete, all has to do with your ability to be able to mentally focus, what you decide to pay attention to. One thing you might have came across, one issue, is that during game day, when the lights are bright, when there's crowd noise, when you're across with your opponent face to face, you have a difficult time focusing. And that impacts your overall performance. Your ability to be able to play defense, your ability to be able to score, to be able to pass gets actually worse during game day. Well, there's very specific strategies that you can do based on a mountain of scientific research and some of these great books behind me to be able to improve your focus. Strategies for before practice, during game day, before game day, during game day, and after game day. And what you might not know is once you understand these strategies, you can be able to reverse them and use them to attack your opponent's focus to gain an even greater advantage. It's fascinating. I'm your host, Charles, the goal guy for athletes. And while I might be a licensed therapist and love the scientific research on the mental aspect of sports, just remember this is all for educational purposes and informational purposes. This does not substitute your actual therapist. So please find an actual therapist in your region if you need one. Let's dive on right into these strategies, starting with the foundation for focus, which is going to be staying inside the present moment. It's past, present, future. The issue with the past is if you focus on the play that happened before, or what's going on outside of your life, or what happened a quarter or two or the half beforehand, then you're not focused on what's presently happening in front of you. And what focus is your mind has to tell your body what to do. Your mind processes everything and tells your body what to do. And if your focus is in the past, or if your focus is in the future, you're worried about how you're going to catch up because you're behind by 15 points. You're down a set. What's going to happen in the next quarter, the next half, the next play? Then that takes away from your focus. If it's 20% in the past, 10% in the future, you're only able to focus 70% inside the present. That actually slows you down physically. It slows your ability down to be able to perceive what's happening in front of you and have your body react. It slows you down physically and makes you worse physically. That's why we're starting with focus here. So the key concept here is staying in the present. And every strategy is going to be how you stay in the present moment, starting with the strategies for before game day. One of the most crucial things is going to be utilizing visualization, which is mindfulness, meditation. Visualization is very similar. Visualization is your ability to be able to key in and be more aware of your emotions, aware of your surroundings. What happens is when you're actually more aware of your emotions and how you're feeling and your surroundings, your amygdala actually decreases in its activity. It allows your brain to be able to process what is happening in front of you a lot more efficiently, improving your focus. One thing you have to do to be able to do this is two things. One of the key things is practicing that awareness by, at minimum, meditating. Finding a quiet space at minimum and just getting keen to your five senses of being in the moment. Here's how you do it. Close your eyes and focus starting on your breath. Air coming in through your nose, through your lungs, out of your nose. That's going to help center you. Just want to be aware of what's happening in the moment. Do that for about a minute or so. This whole process will take about 5 minutes. Every single day you should be practicing this. The same way you practice your drills, the same way you practice strength, practice your mental breath first. Then start to focus on what you hear. You might actually notice the creaks in your house. You might actually notice the sound of your refrigerator happening. And just notice it. Don't dwell on it and say, oh, my refrigerator, I wonder how that's going. Just notice it in the moment. Let it pass by. Focus on what you taste. You might taste your burrito that you ate for lunch that day. Focus on what you feel. You will actually feel your shoulder touching your shirt, your feet touching the carpet. Things that you won't recognize if you're not really paying attention. You're training your brain to be present in the moment. And then on the other side of that, the second thing you want to do at visualization is imagery. You want to imagine what it was like to play inside those game moments. Because think about this. If you play 12 games a year, the only time you're actually focusing and practicing your focus on being in the moment during game day is on game day. That's only 12 times a year. The more practice you get, the better you are. It's a fundamental rule of deliberate practice. So if you can practice it mentally, it's not the same as being physically in the game. If you can practice it mentally, when it comes to game time, your brain is already prepared. There's loud crowd noise. I'm used to it. No big deal. I'm able to focus on what I need to focus on. So imagining what it's like when you're on the field, when you're on the basketball court, when you're in the water, if you're a swimmer, what the crowd noise is like. Imagine what you're going to do inside those settings. Imagine what you need to focus on inside those settings. And for those moments, it's going to help your brain process for actual game time. Now, I said minimally you should do this in a quiet room. The best advice, the best strategy is to do this by simulating the environment. So if you play basketball, do visualization on the court. Practice your senses of being aware on the court. Practice imagery while you're on the court. Playing field hockey, do it on the grass. And also audio. Have a friend, record what game day sounds like. The crowd noise, the coaches chatting back and forth, everything going on, the sneakers going across the court, the splashes into the pool, whatever sport you play, and then take that audio, put it inside some earbuds, and listen to it while you practice visualization. It's going to help your mind and train your mind for those moments, for what it's like. That's the key thing. Visualization is the first one for things to do before game day. The second key thing you want to do before game day is actually both a physical and a mental strategy, and they go hand in hand. The concept of this is your mind has to trust your body to perform, and your body has to trust your mind to tell it what to do. As a baseball player, when you're going to swing, you should not be thinking about fundamentals on game day. How should my footwork be? What should I swing? What body part should I swing with first? While the ball is coming at you 90 miles per hour. Not the time to think about fundamentals. Your brain has to trust your body to be able to say, hey man, the ball's coming at this angle, this speed, this spin. Hit it where I need you to hit it. Hit it on the right side of the field. And your body has to trust your mind to make those calculations correctly and have focus to hit it where it needs to be hit to get it done. How you do that is your actual practice. Your actual proper training for the week. And you will find that if you properly train for the week, whether it has to be with your drills, understanding the concepts for the strategies for offense, for defense, understanding your strength and practicing that, when you come to the game day prepared physically, that actually puts less stress on you mentally. Your brain is not telling your body what to do for the moment in fundamentals. Your brain is trusting your body to get it done. That will find that you actually have more increased focus because you have trust. There's a fabulous book called The Inner Game of Tennis behind me. It's the whole concept of this right here. Before we go on to what to do inside the game to be able to improve your performance, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So therefore, you get all the strategies that come out every single week about how to improve your mental performance from topics such as habits. Time management is actually part of that concept. The focus were in there. Anger is coming up as well. And like I talked about, how you can use these strategies to be able to attack your opponent's mental game to then improve your overall advantage on game day. Hit that subscribe button. So much more content coming out. Hope it brings you a ton of value. Strategies for during the game itself. There's one key strategy borrowing from a book called The Confident Mind, and also some fabulous self-talk research, which is amazing for focus in that regards, based on the science. This key thing here is your pre-performance routine. Everyone has a pre-performance routine. You have a pre-performance routine. Think about baseball players again, or actually think about tennis players. Novak Djokovic, before he hits the ball, before he serves, has a very specific routine that he does. He might adjust some of this, he might adjust his shirt, he might do a little this, he bounces the ball a ton of times. It's a pre-performance ritual routine. What that does is actually based on habit formation research. It trains your brain and stimulates to your brain, gives you a stimuli saying, hey, look, now we have to cue in. Forget about what happened last time, cueing on the present right here. The very specific 3-step thing that you should be having inside your pre-performance routine. Write it out after this video. Optimize it based on the strategies I'm about to tell you right now. There's 3 things you should have in every pre-performance routine. The first thing is you should self-talk yourself to get whatever just happened out of the way. You can say whatever words you want to yourself, but it's positive self-talk. It could be, next play. All right, here we go. Time to get back into it. Here comes the ball. Whatever you want to say, that is cueing to your brain like, hey, we need to be inside the moment right here. The second thing you need to do is breathe. Breathing does a couple of different things. One thing, and it does things physically. Physically calms your body down. Taking a deep breath in. 3 seconds in, hold for 3, out for 3. Actually slows down your heart rate. Slows down and levels out your blood pressure. It allows you to physically be more calm. Simone Biles does this before her routine. Steph Curry during the gold medal game versus France in the final 1 minute, 30 seconds. Go back and watch that game, 1 minute, 30 seconds. He's hyped. He's going to the crowd. He's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. He sits on the bench for about 30 seconds. And you see him, he takes a big, deep breath in. Gets back on the court. I think he nails next 2 threes and just ices the game right then and there. Breathing is key. Third thing you have to do is another self-talk. It could be a self-talk. It could also be a physical thing. It's a call to action for your brain to focus, depending on what you need to focus on in your sport. As a defensive back, you might focus on the hip movement of the wide receiver. The quarterback might focus on what's the linebacker doing. For tennis, you might focus on the ball. For field hockey, you might focus on the ball. For hockey, you might focus on the puck dropping. For swimming, you might focus on not on anyone else, but what certain physical part you should be doing during your stroke. Maybe it's your breathing, because if you don't focus on what part you should be doing for your stroke and you breathe in correctly, you run out of oxygen, then you can't go as fast as you need to go. Third thing should be what you need to focus on. It could be like eyes on the ball. It could be hand clap, let's go. A perfect example, basketball. Opponent scores a point. Basketball's coming in. You're going down the court. You say, all right, let's get ready. That's your cue right there. Deep breath. This is all we're going to the court. All right, let's go. Now you're cued in. That is your 3-step formula. The Confident Mind calls it CBA. That is a key thing you should be doing during the games for your focus. There's also a bonus strategy here as well. Let's say you're having a terrible game. It's called cognitive reframing. Instead of thinking about how bad you are, how bad of a game you're having, reframe that into being, I'm not focusing hard enough. Because understand this, when you step on that court for game day, you can't get faster. You can't get stronger. You can't increase your speed or your strength in that moment. You are as fast as you're going to be. You are as strong as you're going to be. What you change is your mental. The only thing that changes is your mental ability. Opponents that have the weaker mental ability often perform worse. Same stats, weaker mental ability, they perform worse. You can have worse stats, but if your mental is better, you can actually perform to a higher level than your opponents who might physically be stronger than you are. That's how strong mental is. So if you're performing on a bad day, just think about it and reframe it to saying that, hey, my focus is off. Let's reframe my focus. Let's get focused now. Let me do some deep breathing. Let me practice my visualization in just a moment while I'm on the bench. Let me reframe this to be able to dive into deeper what I need to focus on. Again, depending on your sport, could be different. Final strategy for after the game when it comes to focus is going to be journaling. Journaling and a bit of cognitive reframing. Journaling saying that, how was my focus during the game? If it was great, if you had a fantastic focus, why was that so? You might find that, hey, you know what? I realized when I feel like I had a really strong week of training, my focus was on point because I was able to trust my body trusts my mind. So going forward, I know me having a strong week of training is really, really important to me to be able to do what I need to do. Great. If you had bad focus during that game, you might think about that and say, why was my focus so bad? Instead of reframe it from being that you had a bad game, say, why was my focus so bad? You know what? When crowd noise got really loud, I had a tough time focusing. Golf, you're supposed to be quiet when you swing. If you're golfing, people are loud. I had a tough time focusing. People got loud. So now you know for this week, you need to go ahead and practice your awareness, practice your simulating the imagery with crowd noise to be able to be prepared for that moment mentally. Those are the 3 phases before, during, and after to be able to improve your focus on game day. I hope that helps. I hope you get a lot of value from this. Try those strategies out because next week we're going to be talking about how you can reverse those strategies because there's different ones. How you can reverse strategies to be able to attack your opponent's focus and decrease their focus to be able to improve your overall performances. We don't really learn how to be able to use these strategies to attack our opponent's mental game. And that's what we're going to be doing here on this channel. I appreciate y'all. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, ask the questions in the comments. I love it. I'll answer them all based on all the research that I'm reading and things of that sort. Till next time, peace.